Y'all, the next time I go back to Brooklyn, I don't know what I'm going back to. It's starting to feel like I have nothing to go back to. New Girl BK closed down, and that was my spot. That was after my co-op shifts. I would go down on a Sunday with my bag of groceries and just have a couple drinks, have some bites, and go home. I would post up in there for hours. Vibes, music, fun crowd. It was one of those you want to go where everybody knows your name type vibes. And that was such a big part of Brooklyn, and like especially the 20 teens, the early 2020, well, no, 2020 the shit shut down. So yeah, the 20 teens, man, there were so many places. I'm honestly in my mind I'm going all the way back to like the free candies and the tender traps of the world, and so many random nondescript bars that I used to go visit friends who were working their Flatbush farm. Um, oh my gosh, I'm talking about COVID time now. There's no more Casablanca. There is no more Ode to Babel. Um, and it's funny. I was chatting with some friends a couple of weeks ago, and there were a couple spots I named, and I was like, if these spots go, it's over. Like it's over for Brooklyn. And I named Brew, of course. Brew's a staple. I used to be up in Brew every week for sure. Towards my last year in Brooklyn, not as much, but it's an institution in Bed-Stuy. In I would say in Brooklyn, it's an institution. Period. Once that place goes, Brooklyn's done. Only come to find out a couple of weeks ago that they are closed down, like until April, which is never a good sign. That's neighborhoods trying to get them out. The police is always over there. I don't know what's going on. It's sad. It's sad. And another place that I mentioned, around the Crown Heights area, is not necessarily a club or a bar or whatever, but another institution of unity between the hipsters and the neighborhood in Crown Heights. Barbencino. Barbencino. If you know, you know. Barbencino, the reverse happy hour from I think it was from like 11 to 1 or whatever. Listen, you would go to Barbencino on a Sunday and wait for dinner to transition over into like late night, like somewhere around 9 p.m. they would turn off the the family friendly ambient music and put on Drake Pandora. This was around like 2016. It was Drake and Future up in there every week. It was hilarious. Like we had a blast in that place. Barbencino closed down. How? 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 Food was great. Great vibes. Of course, I hadn't been there in a minute. And anytime I went back to Brooklyn, my best friend lives not too far walking distance from there. So I'd pop over, get me a garlic bread and a side of sauce to dip, and call it a day. But Parmigiano closed down, I think, but at the end of February. Like how? My question for folks who are still in Brooklyn: what do y'all do for fun? What is there to do? I mean, I guess folks are going over to Bushwick to hang out. I'm like, at my age, I'm not going over to nobody's Bushwick to hang out. I'm guessing Urzili's probably still over there. There are spots over there. Not interested. No shade, no shade. But for the Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy area, there's a lot of community over there. Where are folks going? Where is there to go? I haven't been home since 2023, January 2023. It was an interesting time, of course. You know, my spots weren't there anymore. There wasn't, Casa, no Otababel. The corners on Nostrand that closed down, I think, during COVID as well. Um, there were spots in Park Slope, including the Grill BK, which I popped into. Loved it there. But I'm like, when it's time for me to go home, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. And the funny thing is, when I moved here, it was in November. I live in Charlotte. It was November 2020. And when lockdown hit, I was like, this is the perfect time for me to make a clean break. I was so entrenched in my lifestyle. Like I had a spot for every day. Like I was keeping up appearances, not just because like, I support, you know, local businesses and whatever, because like I loved being out and meeting people, the bartenders, the hostesses, the servers. I just loved being in community. And I was just so entrenched in my life that I didn't see anything else. Where was I gonna go? My life was Brooklyn. And when everything shut down, I was like, all right, now it's time to plan our great escape. Just make a clean Irish exit. I love a good Irish exit. I need when it's time for me to go, just let me back out real quick. Um and as the years went by, like clearly some places just never reopened after lockdown, but like Casa, but the places that did survive, they dropped like flies year after year after year. And if I had stuck around, you know, I don't know, longing, holding on to something that was clearly expired or about to expire, like a lifestyle that was expiring, that would have been heartbreaking to be stuck there and have life deteriorate around me, like my social life, my all that I knew, my community deteriorate around me. And I'm just so proud of myself that I let that go and I heeded the call and left, because I would have stayed there for naught. There's nothing there for me anymore. There's Brooklyn has nothing for me anymore. Um, I'm just curious about like what folks are doing there now. Where are you finding community? All of our places, especially for like millennials. I'm guessing like millennials and like Gen Xers, our spots are disappearing. Everything from like my era, man, it's gone. I'm really thinking hard, like what's still there, like really genuine gathering spots, places where everybody knows your name, familiar, comfortable, not, I was gonna say, I'm gonna say not ghetto. Um, yeah. What's going on in Brooklyn, man? Is it the landlords? Is it just folks, you know, packing up shop and leaving town? I'm curious. Is it, food prices? I don't know, man. Now I'm kind of I had no plans on going back to Brooklyn. I still don't have any plans on going back to Brooklyn this year, 2025. Maybe 2026, still not planning on it. But I'm curious as to what I'm going back to. What am I going back to? I don't know. Just my thoughts. Curious as to what y'all think.